May I come in, sir? Good morning, sir.
Minal Karanwal? Minal or Minal?
Minal, sir.
Minal.
Yes, sir.
What does that mean?
Sir, it means the eye of a fish, which implicitly implies beautiful.
Eye of the fish.
Yes, sir.
What did Arjun tell his teacher, the Guru, when Dronacharya was taking his test?
Sir, the anecdote that I remember with respect to the eye of a fish is that he was aiming for the fish, but his target was so clear and single-minded that he could see only the eye when
Eye of the bird, not the fish.
the eye of the bird. Yes.
मैंने इसीलिए पूछा कि the reference was to the eye of the bird. Minal, what is your special qualification to qualify for the civil service?
Sir, I'm a graduate in history and political science. I'm a graduate.
Yes.
That's the minimum qualification that is required
Yes.
to sit for the services.
Yes.
And
that too from St. Stephen's, which is a noted college.
thank you, sir. Certainly.
Yes.
Yes, sir. And I have cleared the first and the second stage to give third interview stage right now.
What are your special attributes to qualify for the civil service? सोच के बताइए कि क्या गुण होने चाहिए सिविल सर्वेंट में, और आप में उनमें से कौन कौन से गुण हैं?
So the first I would say is a single-minded focus to clear the examination.
Okay.
And with respect to the studies. The next I would say is discipline and time management, something that I also embody. And third would be the dedication and passion for the services as well, which is required to drive you throughout the preparation.
You did your graduation in history and political science. Can you recall the preamble to the Indian Constitution?
Certainly, sir.
Over to you.
Sir, we the citizens of India, which is
Citizens or the people?
we the people of India, exactly, sir.
Yes.
We the people of India. It describes the polity of India in terms of it being a republic, socialist, secular, democratic, socialist, secular republic of India. And that respects the equality. So exactly I will not be able to recall the preamble.
पढ़ लीजिएगा before the main interview. When is your main interview?
27th of March, sir.
Recently, about 2 months ago, Parliament enacted a new law, which has been assented to by the President also, giving a 10% reservation to members of the general category. What is your comment on that?
So the particular law seeks to give 10% reservation to economic weaker section of the society. The reason being that these section lacks the opportunity, equality of opportunity when it comes to both education and jobs. And with the prior aim of promoting that, providing them their own space, this reservation law was passed.
Which are the main eligibility criteria for this reservation to qualify for this?
So I would remember the primary one, which is the income criteria, which was 8 lakh rupees. And apart from that, there is an agriculture landholding criteria as well. But sir, I would not recall that.
Fine.
You have been a student of history. There has been move recently for rewriting of Indian history. Have you heard of rewriting of Indian history?
The move.
The move is there. People have suggested that the history which we presently read about India is not the right history. It should be rewritten. You haven't heard of it?
Sir, not specifically.
Okay. Then if you have not heard, do you think there is some ground for that?
So it depends on what perspective they have been talking about it, because for example, subaltern history in India, there is not much exploration when it comes to that. So if there is a move to explore history from that aspect, then yes.
You guys said that history generally written from the point of view of the victor,
Okay.
not of the vanquished. Do you think it is so in case of Indian history?
So certainly there have been, there have been instances, because when it comes to kings who won and the explorations done and the acquisitions of territory that happened at various places, yes, it is from the side of the victor, but if it's also analyzed the other aspect.
Give one example where original history said something else and later on it was changed into something else. Any incident?
So I remember that there had been a very crude division of the Indian history in terms of Hindu, and then medieval period was recognized only by the Mughal Muslim kings, and then were the British period, and that there was a re-research.
So what would you suggest? It shouldn't be division like that?
So there shouldn't be any divisional based on the identity of the rulers that way, because even when it comes to the medieval period, there were rulers in the south, for example Vijayanagar kingdom that was existing along with the Mughals. So we cannot claim the entire Indian history to be medieval and Muslim in that sense.
What about 1857 incident? How was it viewed earlier and how it is being viewed now?
So now it's been seen as a watershed incident, because as the first war of independence that had happened in 1857. Earlier there was also this...
was it called first struggle for independence, or was it called something else earlier?
Sir, I am afraid I will not.
Yesterday we celebrated International Women's Day.
Yes.
Are you aware of the person who initially started this movement? The name of the person?
So I would know the name of the organization that did, not the person.
Okay. Let's forget it. We were just talking about the Indian Constitution and its preamble. There is a phrase over there, to have justice, so economic, social and political. Any particular rationale behind this? Why not in other form?
Sir, justice meant that it is an all-inclusive word which guaranteed justice in terms of social, economic and political aspects of it.
No, my question is economic, social and political. Why in this order only?
Sir, if I'm allowed to guess, one interpretation was that once a person or a society achieves economic justice, social and political ensue behind that. So maybe this.
Okay. Tell me one thing. Will it not be proper to say that in India, women specifically need to be empowered economically and socially simultaneously before being given political justice? What are your views about it?
So when we talk about political justice for women and their representation, even though their representation can be aided by top-down measures, but given that their economic independence and their social freedom is first secured, which would provide as a launchpad for them to fight for elections, to stand in the elections and then ahead go to represent in public offices. So certainly economic and social empowerment would aid their political empowerment as well.
You just mentioned about this economic backwardness, so far the bill was concerned. Is it there in the Act or it was there in the bill?
So the limit, the income criteria.
That's 7 lakhs of income and some agriculture householding. Was it there in the Act?
Sir, not in the Act, but the executive notifications have.
So what was there in the Act?
Sir, that economically weaker sections below a prescribed limit income criteria would be.
Is it there in the Act?
Sir, as far as I know, no.
Achha, tell me, this Uttarakhand, it was a part of Uttar Pradesh and recently been carved out as a new states. It has been treated as a special category states. Why it has been treated as special
So there was a specific criteria that the 5th Finance Commission had come up with when it came to special category states, and Uttarakhand complied with it. When it came to hilly terrain, international boundary, own resources were not sufficient to meet expenditure, forest cover. So these were the criteria that Uttarakhand met.
Since you're talking about finance commissions, you know about the 15th finance commission.
Yes.
How is 15th finance commission different from the previous one?
Sir, I would not be aware of the exact differences.
Minal, you have taken this environmental awareness, there was one subject in your +2 program, I think. Okay. How environmental awareness is useful and what is the advantage of this? Why this awareness is required?
Sir, man is being centered to environment, and it's man's activities that have been causing changes in the environment that have harsh consequences for him as well as for other species. So awareness regarding his actions that can also impact environment is very necessary so that conservation and preservation could happen.
What are the environmental issues in this country?
So the first is pollution on the 3 fronts of air, water as well as soil, because air pollution is rising. Recently itself, 15 out of the 20 most polluted cities were recorded in India itself. And soil pollution because there has been monoculture in certain parts of the country.
So in Delhi, what are the pollutants in air normally, and who is studying this pollution here in Delhi? Which organization?
So as far as the pollutants in Delhi are concerned, the first is carbon dioxide, which are the greenhouse gases, methane, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, sulfur dioxide, and there also been particulate matter 2.5 and 10, which have been present in the air. And so as far as the organization is concerned,
What is the harm of 2.5 particulate matter? How it affects us basically?
Sir, PM 2.5, when it enters the lungs, it reduces the surface area for absorption of oxygen, so it is harmful in that sense.
And what can be done, so that we can make Delhi, cleaner or livable at least, because this is supposed to be the most polluted city in the world.
Now,
Noida.
the credit for being the most, or discredit for being the most polluted city is Gurgaon, where I live. But his question is still valid. Delhi is highly polluted. Please answer.
Sir, there can be short-term and long-term solutions for it. Short-term can be when we are replacing the diesel and petrol vehicles with e-vehicles as far as possible, and spreading awareness so that people prefer these vehicles as well. Short-term can also be afforestation that can take place, tree plantation.
Where is the place? Where you will do it?
Sir,
Have you heard of vertical forestry?
no sir, I would not be aware of that.
Okay.
Minal, who wrote some research paper on indecent representation of women in media.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that? What exactly was the content and the focus?
So my primary literature search in the paper was regarding why there is out of context usage of women in films, advertisements, both electronic as well as print. Then I also analyzed certain statutory acts that have been existing which regulate indecent representation of women, and certain regulatory bodies on where they are lacking and what can be done to improve them.
And what was the outcome of this paper in terms of your recommendation 1, 2, 3?
So my prime recommendation was with respect to the Indecent Representation of Women Act, which is 1986. Currently it's not covering electronic media. Recently the amendments were proposed in 2018, but I wrote the paper back in 2013, and this was a primary concern. And second one was also to define the term indecent, because it's extremely subjective and ambiguous. where how to regulate it can be a difficulty if the word indecent is not described. With respect to regulatory bodies, my recommendation was to have a co-regulatory body for both print as well as electronic media, which has a proper complaint mechanism, a tracking complaint mechanism, as well as enforceable regulations. Whatever directions it gives advertisers specifically should be followed.
Okay, just one more thing. Have you heard of Uttarkashi?
Yes, sir.
I'm sure.
Yes.
What is the worst disaster which took place in Uttarkashi and when?
Sir, in the year 2005, there was a cloudburst there. In my knowledge, that was extremely devastating in Uttarkashi.
Okay, Minal, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Kindly wait outside. We'll summon you again
Thank you.
to share our impressions about it.
Thank you, sir.